Hey, this is Ajay Vadukul, financial advisor. If you want to learn how to build a successful home-based business, you should be listening to the Home-Based Business Podcast with my good friend Ryan Allen Bell.
Yo, what's up? I am so pumped to have AJ here. What's up, bro? How are you?
Dude, doing great. Happy to have me on. Thank you, sir.
Dude, of course, man. So let's dive deep. Let's get straight into it, man. So I really want to find out, the mindset and the skills that you pretty much learned over the years growing up and really what it took for you to become the entrepreneur that you are today. So I want to go all the way back to when you were young. So tell me about AJ before you were entrepreneur. Like what was life as, elementary, middle, high school for you?
Well, for me, I'll jump to high school because elementary and middle school were just kind of normal life, hanging out, nothing special. But I think my journey really begins in high school. For me, I think the big turning point, or I guess a slow start to entrepreneurship, is I used to volunteer at a hospital out here in Orange County. Because all my life I grew up, I thought I wanted to go to medical school, wanted to be a doctor. That's sort of what my family has been doing. My mom used to work as an ER nurse. My brother's a first responder for LA City. So everyone in my family sort of is in the healthcare field. And I used to volunteer at this hospital. And I remember every Wednesday, 5 p.m., I would have to go. And every Wednesday, 4 p.m., I would dread going. I would check my temperature, see if I had a flat tire, see if I had homework, just make up some excuse to not go. And I think that's where I started clicking for me. Like, dude, I'm not meant to listen to anyone. Not in the sense like be a rebel, but be my own boss. Not check in with people, not be on that set 9 to 5 schedule. And from that point on, I knew I wanted to do my own things. Um, but I went to university. I ended up going to UC Irvine down in Orange County. I went in as a bio major because I still went on that medical track, sort of half to please my family, half because it was the safe route. After my first quarter at school, I knew this wasn't for me. I couldn't do 8 years of school just to work for someone else. And after that, I ended up switching to economics. Um, and from there, I went on to get my economics degree and co-found my own financial firm. But along the way, my mom actually was, like I mentioned, an ER nurse, but she actually quit her job as an ER nurse to start a home-based business. And I remember that first year that she did it, I think I was about 15 years old back in high school. That was probably the happiest I've ever seen her. Because as an ER nurse, I remember we would get calls at, I don't know, 12, 1 a.m., pagers for her to go into the hospital. And that's no fun. I mean, you want to spend time with your family, you want to sleep, live a normal life. But she was tied down to the job. But after the home-based business, she was living her life, freedom. She was able to travel a little bit, take my dad places he's never been. So as a family, we're a lot happier, and that kind of set the tone of entrepreneurship for me. Just seeing my mom take that leap of faith, and for me, it was simple as that.
Wow. I am in complete shock right now because your story sounds like my story to the T. And I need to tell you just so you could realize how close our stories are, which I didn't realize, bro.
hmm
I was all right, so out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, okay, let me find a normal career. So I chose fire, right? So I pursued a
hmm
career in firefighting. I got my associates, my degree, and I worked as an EMT for 6 years, working the 911 system. Okay, so I was in
hmm
healthcare. And then I realized, yo, this isn't what I want to do. And that's when I got into entrepreneurship. But what's funny, bro, is my mom, she worked at Albertsons for
hmm
my whole entire childhood. And when I was like maybe, I don't know, 14 or 15, she started her own home-based business as well. She started her own thrift shop. Now she has her own store. But same thing is I got to see her experience that freedom. And I know, like, over the years, maybe I didn't realize it, but unconsciously that inspired me, like, hey, this is the way to go, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Man, that is so insane. That is so cool. Um, so I want to go back a little bit to some of the things that you were saying. So, uh, I even believe that even the fact that volunteering kind of sets, like, plants a seed for entrepreneurship, because we entrepreneurs, we don't want to work 9 to 5, but we're willing to work 24/7, you know.
Correct.
And it's so funny because if you have that desire to volunteer for stuff, like, that's kind of like the starting point to be an entrepreneur, is like the willingness versus the dread that you were talking about, right? Versus going to something that you don't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you found out eventually. um but I think it's really important what you said is, like, you had to discover what you didn't want to do in order to realize what you did want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I think for
Um,
me, sorry to cut you off a little bit,
no, you're
but
good, bro.
um, so I think for me is I really enjoyed helping people, and that set the tone for my passions later, which is helping people. Well, back then it was get healthy. Obviously now it's get wealthy.
Mm,
So it's just the passion of helping people. The drag of volunteering was every day or every week, pardon me, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it was just a drag for that's what I didn't enjoy. It was while I was there, I enjoyed helping people out. It was just the checking in, clocking in every week, not living how I wanted to live that I didn't enjoy.
yep. 100%, man. And I believe a lot of people are in that situation, and just, it really does take that leap of faith to change your life.
Hmm.
So you decided to go into economics, right? What kind of inspired that? What, did something happen that was like, hey, like, this might be a path for me, or like, what's the story behind that?
So I, like we mentioned, we had similar paths. So I also got my EMT license. I got
No
it in high
way.
school. Yeah, I worked for about 2 days, and I was like, no, this is this is not for me. Um, Luckily for me, my mom's home-based business was in the financial industry. So when I was 18, I ended up getting some finance licenses and stuff like that. Um, and it was either stick to the medical path that I already had started for myself or venture off and try into this financial industry. UC Irvine doesn't have a financial program. So the next best thing was economics. And that's where I took that leap of faith.
Wow. So literally your mom planted a seed, just like how my mom planted a seed also. It's like, hey, she's pursuing her home-based business, and you see her experiencing that freedom and traveling more and being there and providing more for her husband, right? So just like, wow. I love it, bro. So, okay, economics, and then you decide to co-found your own financial firm. So what's, like, the mindset behind that? What inspired you to want to do that?
So my financial journey, so I worked for a big corporation. That was cool and all. I learned a lot, got my feet wet in the financial industry. After that, I went to a small private wealth management firm, which again, I continued to learn a lot. After that, the only option was either to work for one of those two or co-found my own financial firm, which is obviously what I did. The reason for that, I mean, simply is just freedom, freedom to
Mm-hmm.
help whatever clients I see fit or that need my help, whatever products and services I want to offer, and build the company how I want to. So we have a marketing budget that I'm able to use in whatever way I want to. I'm able to set up clients the way I want to. Uh, and I mean, it's just the little things too. Everything's in our control down to paperwork,
Yep.
software we use, all those things. Just being an entrepreneur and founding your own things and having control of your work and your own life is what made me want to co-found um, my own financial firm.
Wow, bro. Yeah, it's like what you said. a little bit ago is you just didn't like working for someone else. And experiencing that freedom, I think once people can realize like, hey, like freedom is in my grasp, everything can change at that moment. And that's kind of like what you did is like, hey, like if I want to, I don't have to work for this company. If I want to, I could create my own company and I could go after even more freedom than what I'm experiencing right now.
Hmm.
Wow, bro, that's huge. So what's your future vision for this company that you have right now?
Well, my future vision for this company is for me, I definitely focus on the public. Uh, okay, can we scratch that?
Yeah, go for it.
um, okay, can we take a quick little break? Like, are we
Yeah, yeah, we're
okay?
totally cool.
How are we doing so far? Is
I
there
think
anything?
we're killing it, bro. This is
Okay,
dope. You have such a cool story.
perfect. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, you want to ask the question again?
No, it's fine. It's already there.
Uh,
So you could,
what? Can you
but
ask it again so I
oh,
can?
okay, yeah. Um, okay, so tell me about your future vision with your financial firm.
Yeah, so my future vision with this financial firm. So I definitely work in the first responders area. So my brother's a first responder for Los Angeles City, as I mentioned before. So for me, I've noticed a lot of financial planners, financial advisors, they sometimes try to take advantage of people because the financial industry, it can be complex. There's a lot of different terminologies, big words, fees associated, and people often get taken advantage of. So I definitely want to create a platform for first responders that they're able to invest, save their money properly, secure their retirement, and knowing that they have comfort, that they understand what they're investing in and what they're using and what they're saving their money in. Uh, because like I mentioned, sometimes they get taken advantage of. So is I want to take good care of them while creating an educational platform that other first responders out in the United States can use to help secure their retirement as well. So just grow a big firm that is able to help a lot of people out there. Simple as that.
Wow. It sounds like integrity is important to you, right?
the I feel like integrity is the number one aspect of business.
Wow.
I don't care how good of a salesperson you are. If you don't have integrity, I'm not working with you.
Yep. 100%, man. I agree with you so much. And I feel like integrity, in order for us to be able to help people, first of all, we have to be able to help ourselves. And the best way to help ourselves is to have massive self integrity. Like, literally do what you said you're going to do. And
Mhm.
if you could get that right, then you could help one person at a time. And eventually you could get to where your goals are, which is to help a lot of people, massive
Mhm.
people.
Correct.
Man, that is so powerful. Um, okay, cool. So my audience, these guys that they really want to learn how to build a successful home-based business. Okay. There's
Mhm.
lots of aspects to this. There's mindset, there's skills, there's this, there's that. And I know your strength is financial security, financial education.
Mhm.
So what advice or what steps would you recommend someone start for someone who's just getting started and a home-based business? Like what is maybe like a basic template that they should create for themselves for creating a safe and great financial future for themselves?
Hmm. So for me, well, I guess personally for me, I guess starting my own business, some key things that have really helped me were you definitely want to plan things out because starting your own business is definitely not an easy thing. I'm pretty sure you also agree, and we'll be upfront about it. It's not
Yep.
easy at all, but it's
But
probably
it's
one
worth
of
it.
exactly that's exactly where I was going with it. And you're gonna have your down days, your down months. And that's just inevitable. Everyone's been through it. We've been through it. Bill Gates goes through it. Steve Jobs. Um, Whoever has gone through this entrepreneurial journey has gone through it. So my best advice regarding finances is understand your own finances and how much money you need to survive each month, and make that a target goal. That way, you're able to survive month to month without being too stressed out and having to give up your business. Because most businesses fail because people give up too soon. And I believe a lot of that stress and burden falls on the financial aspect. I also understand that, okay, businesses sometimes just aren't for you, they are tough. But I think a lot of people give up their businesses because they aren't able to stay afloat, and they have to go back to a job in order to provide for their family. However, if you plan out your months knowing, okay, I need X amount this month, so if I make Y amount, I need to save that X amount for the following months to stay afloat. And just while you're starting out, just save as much as you can, and reinvest that into your business. You may not reap the rewards right now. It may not be an instant gratification. However, down the line, the investment will pay tenfold, and you'll thank yourself down the road. So just to recap, because I know I went a lot of different areas with that, just plan and have a plan and execute that plan. And when you start succeeding in your business, don't get too big headed and continue to save and do the right things.
Wow. I want to talk about something that you mentioned that's really important. So it sounds like if we don't get our finances in check from the very beginning, that's like one of the biggest reasons why people have to quit their home-based business and go back to a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is, I feel like if we could grasp that, that could change the whole entire game for us. Because I've seen that over the years of me building my own home-based business, is where people get to a point where their business is thriving, but they have to go back to a job because financially they're not prepared. And if they just would have started from day one before they're even making money, you know, developing those simple habits, I think that's just, it could change their whole entire future.
Yeah, and
Powerful.
we're creatures of habits. So if
Yeah.
you start with good things while you're starting out, it will be much easier, because there's a saying that if you can't manage $1,000, there's no way you're going to be able to manage $100,000. So it all starts with the habits while you're starting out and while you're, I guess, young in the business.
Yep. 100%. It's like what people say when it comes to tithing too. If you can't give 10% of $100, who says you're going to give 10% of $100,000 or even $1,000,000, right? You have to start small.
Spot
That's
on.
wild. All right. So you mentioned reinvesting back into your business. This is something that I really believe in. One of my mentors says to reinvest into our personal development every year, at least 10%. So that's something I've been doing for the last 7 years. Now, I'm curious, is that what you mean by reinvesting back into your business? Or what do you mean specifically when you're talking about reinvesting back into your business?
Well, there's two aspects of it. So there's obviously like the marketing aspect that you need to reinvest. But like you mentioned, the bigger side and probably the more important side is personal development. So those are podcasts such as these. You have
Yep.
books, you have YouTube, you have learning from mentors. All those things help us become better people and stronger leaders, because at the end of the day, that's what you need to succeed in a business. And I think that's what drove me to be an entrepreneur a little bit as well, is kind of when you get a job, you're stuck in that 9 to 5. And yes, you'll continue to pick up a few skills here and there. But as an entrepreneur, every single day, your goal is just to get 1% better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that is through personal development and always continuing learning. And I think sometimes a job can't offer that.
Yep, 100%. And I love what you said about finding the right mentors with personal development. So that's something I learned very early on. And what I realized, like a big part of our success is like, who do we learn from? Who do we listen to? And what I've seen over the years is people who aren't having success in their life, they're honestly they're listening to people that don't have the results that they want in their life. And the people that are getting results in their life, what they are doing is they're listening to people who do have the results that they want in their life, right? So like a great example is if you want to get your finances in check, for example, someone that you should listen to would be someone like AJ, because that's literally what this guy does, right? Like that is a perfect example. Or like another great example, like, oh, if you want to learn how to get in the best shape of your life, like you should go watch some Arnold videos from him back in the day. It's like study people who are great at what you want to become.
Hmm.
Man, that is so powerful that you mentioned that.
Yeah, and
um
I think the reason people need to do that is these people are successful in their field, and simply you learn from their mistakes, and that
mhm.
way you don't make those same mistakes. It's just like reading. I imagine like a biography of some 70-year-old entrepreneur is you have his or her 70-year life in a book, all their mistakes, all their learning curves, and you learn from that so you don't make those same mistakes and you don't have those same setbacks. And that's why I think mentors and people to look up to are just so important in entrepreneurship.
Imagine this. This is what I learned from one of my mentors. This is what a mentor does. You could go out on your own to try to learn a particular skill, which might take you, let's say, a year to learn, versus you could hire a mentor who already spent that year to learn that skill and he could teach it to you in 10 minutes. And so what ends up happening is you literally saved a year of your life through a mentor. And so what my mentor says is like having a mentor is like a time machine. Like you could speed up everything in your life by having the right mentors, and you could be years or decades ahead of other people just by having the right mentors in your life. Man, that is so powerful. Um, and so you said you also reinvest into the marketing aspect. So what do you guys do like specifically with that, or what do you recommend for the marketing aspect?
So it depends what business you're trying to approach. For me, in the financial industry, some things that I've found helpful are sometimes we run some social media ads, just little ones, give a little snippet of what they could have going on. But a big part of our marketing budget actually goes to the golf course, which is a surprise to most people because you think, okay, what the heck?
Yeah.
You're spending money on golfing. However, I've figured out in finance, a big aspect of it is client relationship.
Hmm.
And I think any business is people don't buy the product because they like the product necessarily. They buy the product because they like you.
Mm.
And that goes hand in hand with personal development and getting the clients to know you as the not necessarily salesman, but as the product. Per Okay, I lost my. We're gonna have to scratch that.
No, you're good, bro.
um, um, yeah, I just lost my train of thought. What?
You're talking about
See,
yeah.
so you asked me about marketing, so we could restart
Okay,
with that.
we'll just redo it.
Go
You
for it.
ready?
Sorry about that.
No, you're cool, bro. I told you at the beginning. It's okay. It's totally fine if we mess up. Like we can edit it. Okay, so I want to go back to what you said about reinvesting into marketing. So, what specifically do you do, or what advice would you recommend when reinvesting back into marketing?
Yeah, perfect. So marketing, I think, like we mentioned, so one big aspect of I feel like sales in general is people don't buy the product because they like the product. There's tens of thousands of other people selling the same product as you are. They buy the product because they like you and they trust you. So with that, a big portion of our marketing budget goes into client relationship. So whether that's social media, email drip marketing, so they understand what's going on, or on the golf course as well. So I get to truly understand my clients, understand what they're going through, understand their wants, their needs, their families, their childhood, and really establish that trust with them. So those are my two biggest tips in regarding marketing.
Wow, I think that's huge. It's like people don't care what you know until they know that you care. That's so cliche. We all have heard that before, but that's the truth. Is like invest into your marketing to literally build relationships with people. Like that's what you're saying, man. That's
Hmm.
incredible. Okay, so I have a huge question for you. So this is the Home Based Business podcast, and I have a belief. my belief is the only way to achieve true freedom is to figure out how to future proof our income by creating a plan to quit our job and start a home based business. So I want to ask you the same question from your perspective, and so our audience can, have a different perspective, so they're not just hearing from my perspective, but they could gather different perspectives. So same question is like, do you believe the only way to future proof your income is to create a plan to future proof your income? Actually, I just messed that up. Let me go back, bro. See,
Wait,
thank God, bro. All right.
one question.
Yeah.
Have they been like yeses or nos, or have they all been
Ev-
yeses?
Everyone said that they believe the best they believe home-based business is way better than the job. Yeah.
Okay, well, because I might go contrarian just to add some drama and
Do it, bro. Do it. I
some
want I
spice.
want to us to I want this question is specifically so we could have like, obviously, like, I want my audience to gather their own beliefs, not me just telling them something. And so if we're having like a mini debate, then that's kind of dope. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I have the same question for you, AJ. So do you believe the only way to achieve true freedom is to future proof your income by creating a plan to quit your job and starting a home based business, and why?
Hmm. So you definitely did drop the hammer with this question. So for me, I believe that there's kind of two sides to this question. I believe one part is yes, you need to be in control of your own income, your own future. Um, However, I'm gonna say no to this question. The real reason behind that is I believe that there's nothing wrong with peace and prosperity in having a job and having that safety net. Sometimes for people, having a home-based business and taking that big leap of faith just isn't for them. And that's just human nature. And we are going to meet people like that who aren't driven to continually work and grind for the next 10 years to enjoy the next 30 years. And I find nothing wrong with that. And I understand what you're saying, that recessions do hit. People do lose their jobs, they do lose their incomes. However, I believe that tough times don't last, but tough people do. So, although people might lose their jobs in a COVID pandemic, a 2008 recession, a 2001 recession, um, those things might come. But I think all those people have bounced back and they're continuing to live their life. So I believe that the true freedom for people comes within their own mindset and what they believe in, whether that belief is to take on the risk of a business or to have that peace and prosperity of having a job.
Wow. Bro, that is exactly why I asked that question, is because you have your own perspective and you're already successful having your own home-based business. And so now my audience, they could grasp their own perspective of it. Because I want to bring up a point that you mentioned, is like, having a successful home-based business isn't for everyone. It might be for you, it might not be for you, right? And it really does take that leap of faith, that grit, that perseverance to have success in a home-based business. And the biggest thing is like, hey, like, if you want to have success in a home-based business, it's there for the taking. You just have to take a leap of faith to go after it. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, bro. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. And I think to just circle back is I do think it's all a mindset, because believe me, I was built for school. Like, I could sit in a classroom and then I could go home and just study for hours on end. Um, I love the, I love used to having the structure. Being an entrepreneur, I mean, you wake up in the morning and then it's kind of like, okay, where's my next appointment? What's the next sale? Stuff like that. So I understand the other side of having peace and prosperity. Um, but it's just a mindset switch and having that desire to really want it.
I love it, man. Mindset is everything. I always tell people, it's like, hey, if you could get your mindset right, if you get your attitude right, like, everything else is gonna follow. Like, you'll learn what to do, you'll learn how to do it, and it just aligns, and your business just thrives as long as your mindset is set in stone.
Mhm.
So powerful, man. Okay, so um, for for those who really want to have success in a home-based business, what would you say is the best advice that you could give them from your perspective?
So, in my experience with working with people who are in the entrepreneur space, the best advice that we can give is you can't half-ass it. Wait, is there cussing allowed on this? You-
You're good, bro.
Do you want to restart?
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry.
That's so
Um,
funny.
do you want to ask the question or should I just go off?
Yeah, just go off again.
Okay, so in my experience, I believe the best advice that we could give people who want to start a home-based business or any entrepreneurial business is you can't go half in, half out sort of deal. It's either you're fully committed or you're not. Um, and it's just simple as that. Because if you really put your mind to something and you give it your all, it will turn out well. However, if you're wishy-washy, kind of like doing it, if you kind of work on your business on a Monday and Tuesday and take the rest of the week off, it's probably not going to work out too well for you. However, if you're fully committed and give it your all, I have no doubts that it will work out.
Wow, bro. Yeah, I live by that. I always tell people like find what you want to do, plant your 2 feet, plant your flag, and just go after it like your life depends on it because it does, you know?
Wait, can we redo that? Because I said there's no doubts that you won't succeed, and like I do believe that's true. However, in life, like people will fail, and I feel
Okay.
kind of bad saying
Yeah,
that.
go
I don't
go
know how
for it.
you
Go for
feel.
it, bro.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, you could change it if you want, bro. It's like it's really whatever you believe, honestly. Like that's the reason we're doing this, you know?
Well, I mean, I do believe like if you put your mind to something and you do commit to it 100%, like it will work out. But I feel wrong because I mean, you understand like businesses fail. It's just the nature of life. Um,
It's the way I see it is like we all fail, but it it's temporary defeat. You know, it's not permanent failure. So like we could find something else that we could have success in. You know, if we fail in one project, like that's fine. That's part of entrepreneurship, you know.
Mhm. I feel like that was
Um
a good talking point. I feel like that should be in the podcast right there.
for sure, bro. Well, do you want to do it over or do you want to keep what you said?
What are your thoughts? I feel pretty okay with it.
Okay. Yeah. I forget where we left off though.
So
Should we just
you just asked the biggest advice
yeah.
to
Maybe let's just do it again, bro, because I forgot where we should
okay,
continue.
yeah. So do you want to ask the question again or just
No, I already got the question. Yeah.
okay? So you want me to start?
Okay, so yeah, what is the biggest advice that you could give for someone starting out to build a successful home-based business from your perspective?
Yeah, perfect. Good question. So my number one tip, and I've seen this working with other home-based businesses and other entrepreneurs, is working in a business and going for business is going all out. I mean, you're taking the risk both for your own personal life, your financial safety, everything like that. So, with this big risk, you don't want to just kind of wishy-washy, half in, half out. It's something that you really fully needed to be committed to and go all out for. I truly believe that if you do go all out for something, um, yes, there might be setbacks along the way. However, if you keep pushing forward and put your mind to it, that end of the day, that will work out for you.
Yep, 100%, bro. I always tell people, like, when you plant your flag and you plant both your 2 feet, it is like destined for you to figure it out and have success. And even if you experience failure, like that's only temporary, you know, like there's a huge difference between permanent failure and temporary defeat. So as long as your feet are planted and your flag is there, like you could figure it out and move forward. So that's huge, bro. Huge. Okay, so I'm a huge quote guy, and I believe a perfect quote at the perfect time in someone's life could change their life forever. So the way I want to end this is, you know, what is your favorite quote? What is something that's really like impacted your life that stuck with you throughout your life?
Yeah, so this quote, I don't know where it came from. I used to say it in high school, and now I apply it to, I guess, life and business. So in high school, when I was studying, I used to say, okay, the pain of studying is temporary, but GPA is forever. Um,
Hey.
now I apply it to business, saying, okay, the pain of waking up early, late nights, making the phone calls, doing things I don't want to, is worth the forever of building a business, having the financial security, and helping out as many people as I can. So to summarize the quote, I don't know where this quote came from. I don't know who said it. I don't know if it's an official quote, but pain is temporary, but glory is forever.
Ooh, I love it, bro. Dropping some fire today. Okay, cool, man. Man, that was so awesome learning about your story, learning about your mindset, and I'm super pumped for your future and everything. And I'm just excited for what we learned today for the audience. And I know something that you said had, it just had to leave some type of seed in someone's heart and someone's soul that's going to grow from this point forward, that's truly going to transform their life. So, AJ, thanks so much for coming out, man.
Dude, thank you for having me. Thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you guys learn stuff. This guy right here is a stud, and keep on listening to his podcasts.
Hey, you're the man, bro. So, before I let you go, what is the best way people could get in touch with you at?
Um, so, I, well, technically it's my phone number, but I don't know if I want to give out my phone number
Yeah.
on a big podcast.
Do you
Um,
have a website or maybe
so,
even like your Facebook or
so
Instagram or something?
okay, yeah, no, that's perfect. So, do you want to redo it?
Um, no, it's fine. I already said it.
Okay, cool. So easiest way to get to me is through social media. So that's you have LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. My Twitter, I talk a lot about sports. So if you like sports, I'd be more than happy to talk to you guys. But on the business side, definitely Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, um, and I will respond to any and all messages.
Cool. And how do you spell your name so they can look you up the right way?
Perfect. So my name's AJ. So first name AJAY, last name Vadukul, Vadukul.
Awesome. Thanks for coming out, AJ.